Hey EHS, my name is Casey Barton, and I'm just introducing you to my paper this year. My paper titled Core Fears, Motivations, and Leading Toward Integration: Undervalued Aspects of the Enneagram for Preaching. Just to tell you who I am, I said Casey Barton. I work at Lancaster Bible College and Capital Seminary, where I am the director of our pastoral ministry programs. So that means I oversee our pastoral ministry courses and our pastoral ministry degree programs, both at the undergraduate and the graduate level. So I teach pastoral ministry courses, including several preaching courses. Um, yep, that's where I am. I'm in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and yeah. So let me tell you about my paper. Our theme for the conference is preaching and leadership, and one of the suggested topics was looking at preaching in the Enneagram. Now, the Enneagram is something that I've been just fascinated by for a very long time. It's a tool that I have used both for my own personal spiritual formation, and it's something that I've used as a really helpful and I would say essential tool for my ministry, especially in forming teams and understanding how the people in my congregation, how their minds work, how their hearts work, and using that kind of information to better communicate the gospel and better lead the mission and vision of my churches that I've served in. Um, and so I really wanted to grab onto this topic of Enneagram and preaching because I think that the Enneagram can have a lot of benefit for preachers if we take the time to know the Enneagram as a spiritual formation device and system, and figure out really how to unlock some of the more important aspects of it, and how those fit into our sermon preparation and our proclamation. Uh, so just as a just a few of the key points of the paper. The Enneagram is a personality typing system, and yet it's different from other personality typing systems such as Myers-Briggs or StrengthsFinder or DISC or any of those. And I would say that the primary way in which it is different is that all of those systems are really good at telling you what you are and what you do. They're really good at telling you what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. They're good at telling you how you behave and interact with other people and with teams and all those things. And the Enneagram does that too. However, the one thing that the Enneagram does that I've not found with those other systems is the Enneagram tries to get deeper below the surface of somebody's behaviors, somebody's relational interactions, and get down to really the core of motivations. Not just how do we act, but why do we behave the way that we behave? And within that system of the Enneagram, what we might say is that every one of us has a core motivation, and it's out of that motivation that our behaviors and actions are formed. But also, that motivation is rooted in a core fear. So much of what we do, so much of our behavior, our action, our interaction with other people, is rooted in some kind of a core fear that we're always protecting ourselves from. Now, as you read the paper, you'll see I try to go type by type in that system to explain what I mean by that. And so in the paper, you'll get more of an explanation. I don't need to give a full explanation here. But I think that this really is one of the primary benefits of the Enneagram for preaching. Because if we can start to understand not just the behavior of the people in my congregation, not just the behaviors of the people to whom I'm preaching, but if I start to understand why, if I understand why people are the way they are, why they do the things that they do, and start to understand what those core motivations and what those core fears are, then I'm able to more effectively proclaim the gospel message in such a way as to meet those fears, as to meet those motivations. The primary goal of the Enneagram is not to tell you who you are. The Enneagram doesn't tell you who you are. It doesn't just tell you what you do and why you do it, really at the core of the Enneagram is to tell you that this might be the way you behave and this might be the reasons for it, but that's not really who you are. Who, within a Christian framework, we would say that we start to recognize those patterns of behavior and those core motivations in order to draw us closer to a true, integrated, holistic identity in Christ. So, understanding that system, that behaviors, motivations, fears, helps me as a preacher to shape my proclamation of the gospel in such a way to lead people towards wholeness and integration in Christ in ways that meet the way that their mind and their heart and their gut are already functioning. So I hope that that becomes clear as you read the paper. Again, I enjoy the Enneagram. I really enjoy preaching, but I also would say that the Enneagram is just a tool. And I hope that you'll see that it's an important and interesting and an effective tool as we come to look at preaching as leadership, and especially in this context, preaching as leading people in their discipleship journey with Christ. All right, I'll see you all at the conference.